Assalamualaikum. I'm Aina Faieqah Binti Zabri, matric number 829313. So today I'm going to present on chapter 5, which is international financial issue. The first article is in Malaysia, and the title is Effect of Financial Crisis on Firm Performance in Malaysia. This purpose of this study is to look into the relationship between financial crisis and the performance of 14 consumer service companies listed in the main market of Bursa Malaysia. The author choose study frame between 2015 until 2019, which is 5 years period. The dependent variable for the study ratio of return on total asset (ROA), which also serve as the value of the firm. While for the independent variable, there are two components, which are debt ratio and also debt to equity ratio. In the literature review, author explain about the dependent variable and also independent variable in detail. Then by using the explanation from the literature review, hypothesis was developed successfully. The author mentioned about Modigliani-Miller theorem, where it states the amount of debt in a firm will not affect its value. Next, in the research method, a research model was constructed. The Hausman specification test is used to determine which model is the most appropriate. There are random effect model and also fixed effect model. So in this result of the study have been displayed very meticulous. And the debt ratio, from the result we know that the debt ratio has a positive association with the return of total asset, while the debt to equity ratio had a negative relationship. So the main finding revealed that the debt ratio have a positive relationship with ROA, while debt to equity ratio has a negative relationship. In my opinion, the arrangement of this article is good and easier to be understand. The author explained the limitation of this study clearly, but I think the author should develop the issue in the relation part, because the issue is not really clear. I also prefer the data collection for more than 10 years, since the author only used 5 years period, right? So the result will be more convincing. Other than that, the author can also add on the independent variable. It is because there are only 2 independent variables in this study, and I think it's not enough. In addition, the authors failed to explain the contribution of the study to society or to the country. I hope that in the future, this study can compare the situation before and after the COVID-19, after it hit our world, so we can see clearly the impact of this pandemic toward businesses. Now everyone, for the second article, which is pioneer research, I choose external debt and economic growth, the case of emerging economy. It is the title. The relationship between government foreign borrowing and economic growth was the aim of this study. The authors obtained time series data from World Bank and also the Central Bank of Oman for year 1990 until 2015. The author was inspired to conduct this study since there's no previous study has looked into the relationship between government external borrowing and economic growth in Oman. Well, authors described the problem faced in Oman in the introduction, and the authors do not forget to include the relevant data. Among the problem faced outstanding debt, price of Omani crude oil, and also poor management. So this study was divided into 5 sections, which are literature review, data and methodology, result, and also conclusion. My first impression as soon as I saw this article was I was being like interested to read more, because the article was very neat, the arrangement was neat, and as well as the clear section of division. So, in the literature review, author lists the reason that lead to the government borrowing, but I think author should explain more on this reason, because author just lists down the reason. Overall, I am very satisfied with this study. It is because we are constantly exposed to economic problems that occur in countries with the large economic scale such as US, China and so on, but less exposure to what happened in other countries like Oman. Oman, it is a large country, it is a developed country because income derived from the oil. So I suggest that in the future there is study that make comparison between countries in terms of what they have done to recover from the external debt. Researchers can also suggest more reasonable solution that can help the government to overcome the debt or financial crisis. That's all for the second article. Now let's look for the third article, which is the interesting article. The title that I choose is the COVID-19 pandemic and its impact on the global economy. What does it take to turn crisis into opportunity? Authors analyze how COVID-19 would likely deepen in the existing malaise in the global economy and what could be done to address this problem while managing the economic recovery. There were 4 significant issues due to the COVID-19 pandemic that discussed in this study. Author organized this study by divide into 4 different sections. In the second section, author explained the impact of COVID-19 toward economies and how it worsened the several pre-existing conditions in the global economy. In the third section, what kind of reform we will need to enhance productivity and how can this pandemic be used to spur policy reform and innovation were being highlighted by the authors. Last section focused on the conclusion and makes policy recommendation. Author managed to highlight this issue as well as convey the information in the right way. So the problem statement makes the reader interested to know more about this article. The data and graph provided successfully make the reader confident with the information presented. However, on the page 17 and above, the author only writes and it becomes a long essay, and each paragraph is so long and it makes the reader bored because it's difficult to focus. I suggest that author make more subheadings to make it easier for reader to find the important points. Other than that, the use of application of the theory is being explained in depth. I hope in the future there will be a study that focuses on other fundamental factors. For example, sustainability of environment, technology development, and maybe the reformation of government policy. These factors should be taken into account in order to create a stable and strong recovery in the post-pandemic era. So I think that's all for this assignment for the 3 article review. Until then, Assalamualaikum.